The court sentenced my brother to 10 days physical confinement. I decided I wanted to speak to the court about my feelings regarding the sentencing. I stood when the judge asked if there was anybody else that had something to say. The judge called to me to approach the bench and say my piece. I explained I was the older brother, and that if the court wanted to serve as a deterrent to crime and be a corrective force in the community, and my brother's life, they would disregard the prosecutor's recommendation and give my brother 180 days, or at least 90 days in lockup, considering among several reasons. He was only 6 months from adulthood. Had he committed this crime just 6 months later, he'd be looking at a year or longer behind bars. 10 days just wasn't going to make much of an impression on my brother as a deterrent to committing crimes. I said it was a serious crime, and 90 days locked up would also help him be without hard drugs long enough so that he'd have a decent chance of staying sober. He didn't have the years of use many people have by the time they get arrested, so if we could assist his exit from a life of addiction, this was our last best chance and we should make our best effort. After another person or two spoke, the judge said he had come to a decision. He said, 10 days as recommended is typical for the crime and as a first offender, but the court has had an unusual consideration in that a family member has come forward and made a pretty compelling argument for the court to hand down a lengthier sentence, and I feel sufficiently moved to not go with the prosecutor's recommendation. My brother shot me an evil glare. The judge continued, instead, I'm sentencing the defendant above the standard sentence for the charge. My brother's face turns red in anger as he shoots me a steely stare, and while I appreciate the sentiment of Mark's older brother, I simply cannot give Mark 180 days, or even 90 days in confinement, as it's outside the permissible range for a first offense. So I hereby sentence the defendant to 30 days in juvenile detention for burglary in the second degree.